What we got here?
Something you haven't read.
Everyone talking about Aisha? Here's something from your Bible.
Why is it that every time we point out what Muhammad did to Aisha was incredibly immoral, all you Muslims do is resort to whataboutism, as if that justifies it? In reality, all you're doing is demonstrating you don't have a clue how Christian theology works. Romans 3:23 says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Therefore, we Christians don't have to pretend all the actions of the prophets and the patriarchs were ethical. So when you Muslims go to immoral passages in the Hebrew Bible, all you prove is how ignorant you are of Christian theology. You don't actually justify Muhammad's actions. And also, it's interesting to us that you constantly have to compare Muhammad to the immorality in the Bible. Kind of proves our point about how immoral he was. But what's most hilarious is the passage you're about to read from doesn't even prove your point.
The first book of Kings, chapter 1. Now, King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. Wherefore his servants said unto him, Let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and let her cherish him, and let her lie in thy bosom, that my lord the king may get heat. Okay, so the word used for young virgin in these few verses in Hebrew is na'ra.
It's funny you stop there, because if you would have read the next two verses, you would have seen this. The young woman was very beautiful, and she was of service to the king and attended to him. But the king knew her not. In the Hebrew Bible, that's an idiom to mean they did not have any relations. Therefore, she was still a virgin. And that makes sense. King David is on his deathbed. He probably doesn't have the energy anymore to engage in that behavior. But even if he did, that wouldn't justify Muhammad's marriage to Aisha, because the Bible doesn't say that King David is an excellent moral example, unlike the Quran, which pretends that Muhammad was.
Everyone talks about Aisha. In your own book, the same thing is happening.
No, because you clearly took the passage out of context in a sad attempt to justify Muhammad's immoral behavior.
Does this not show it was a completely different time in the world? Does this not show that society was in a completely different place?
The cultural standards of the past do not justify Muhammad's obvious immoral actions, because the Quran says he is supposed to be an excellent moral example for humanity, when it's obvious that he was not.